The jury has returned in the case of the man accused of murdering Grace Millane. He has been found guilty of murder. Just to repeat that, the 27-year-old man on trial for the murder of Grace Millane has been found guilty this evening. I think we're going to go shortly to our reporter who's down at the High Court. Do we have her on the line? We are still waiting for her to come out of court. But that man, the 27-year-old accused, has been found guilty by the jury that has been deliberating. Well, it's coming up to 5 hours now. And I think Sarah Robson is with us now from outside the High Court in Auckland. No, we still don't have her, but we will keep you posted as soon as we have more details about that. The jury has just returned. As we said earlier, they came back at about 4:10 this afternoon and asked the judge a question. They indicated that they were very close to a verdict. Now they have come back with that verdict. They started deliberating at around 12:45 this afternoon. So we will keep you up to date and cross to our reporter as soon as she's able to leave the courtroom there. It is about 12 minutes away from 6, and this is Checkpoint, and I'm Lisa Owen. We do have our reporter on the line now. I believe it's Sarah Robson who is joining us. Sarah has been covering this case for a number of weeks now. Obviously, the key question was whether this was murder or it was an accident during a consensual sexual act. Sarah is with us now. Sarah, can you just bring us up to date? What's happened?
Yeah, we have just had the verdict delivered by the jury. The man has been found guilty of murdering Grace Millane. Now, Ms Millane's parents were holding hands in the public gallery as they waited for that verdict to be delivered. And Mrs Millane, Gillian Millane, Grace Millane's mother, she wept as that verdict, in the moments after that verdict was handed down, and held her husband. Now, the accused man, he appeared emotionless as that verdict was handed down, and left the courtroom fairly promptly.
Were there many people in the public gallery when the jury returned?
The public gallery wasn't as full as it has been for a lot of this week. At times during this trial, it has been standing room only and absolutely packed. Now, I should also mention that the jury spent about 5 hours deliberating on their verdict this afternoon before coming back with that guilty verdict.
And Justice Moore, who is the judge in this trial, did he say anything after that verdict was returned?
He convicted the man of murder, and he told the jury that this has been a difficult case for them, and they will be excused from jury duty for 7 years.
Are we expecting, the family of Grace Millane to speak this evening at all?
We are expecting a statement from Grace Millane's father, David Millane, outside court, probably very shortly.
Just remind us the choices that they had here, the jury, in terms of the way that the defence had couched this versus the prosecution. Can you just talk us through that, Sarah?
Yeah, so it was the Crown's case that the accused man had strangled Ms Millane in his apartment at the City Life Hotel. Now, it was the defence that was their case. They said that this was a case of rough sex gone wrong. Now, the Crown called almost 40 witnesses over this 3-week trial, including a pathologist who determined that the cause of her death was pressure to her neck. We also heard evidence from other women who had met up with the accused man on dates, including one woman who said that she had been suffocated while performing oral sex. We've also heard evidence about Google searches that the accused man made in the early hours of the 2nd of December. So these were the Google searches about things like Waitakere Ranges and hottest fire. And yesterday, again during the closing addresses, Crown Prosecutor Brian Dickey showed the jury the 7 explicit photos that were taken of Ms Millane after she died.
And so in the end, they have accepted the prosecution's version of events. You mentioned the 27-year-old accused who still has name suppression. How was he in court?
He appeared emotionless as that verdict was handed down, and very quickly exited with his corrections escorts from the dock.
Any word from the defence team as yet?
Not as yet. We are just waiting to hear more from them as people leave the courtroom.
Thank you, Sarah. That is Sarah Robson, who has been covering the trial of the man accused of murdering Grace Millane. He has been found guilty this afternoon after about 5 hours of deliberation from the jury. They have accepted, obviously, the Crown's case that he had murderous intent or reckless disregard for Grace Millane, the British backpacker who was killed in December of last year. And that 27-year-old has now been convicted, as Sarah said, left the court emotionless.